The platformer is one of the most enduring genres in gaming. Over 30 years old, modern platform games have evolved from simple run and jump origins to introduce new concepts and innovative ideas along the way. Games that are basically all about jumping from platform to platform can be incredibly varied, from traditional 2D side-scrollers into action platformers to Metroidvanias, puzzle platformers, 3D collectathons, first person, and many others. I'm Andrew, and this is Leaps and Bounds, a channel dedicated to platforming. So, why do we play platform games? Well, perhaps the question should be, why do we still play platform games? From a pragmatic standpoint, they are relatively easy games to develop, which is why we see indie teams go back to them time and time again. It reduces the risk that comes with trying to create a financially viable game. Take a look at any list of best indie games ever, and platformers thrive. You'll inevitably come across titles like Braid, Limbo, Cave Story, Spelunky, Super Meat Boy, and Fez. But just because they're easy to develop, it doesn't mean they'll be instant classics. It's certainly not easy to have good, creative level design. In fact, that they're easy to develop brings along its own problems too. There are too many platformers on the market. Some of them aren't up to scratch, some of them don't offer anything new or worthwhile, and this in itself can put people off. On the flip side, what easy development does do, along with the fact that a platformer works really well in 2D, is free up developers to focus on gameplay and innovation. And when they get that right, we get some amazing games. Take a look at Limbo. It may have had conventional mechanics, but it was free to approach unconventional themes. This was a point expressed by Niles Anderson, who among other projects was the lead designer of Mark of the Ninja, so he knows a thing or two about the genre. He said, 2D platformers are well understood mechanically. We've had a chance to internalize their structure since Super Mario Bros. There is a formula and a set of rules, and with that comes the ability to either leverage or disrupt those rules for the purpose of saying something. As long as a few simple things are in place to make something appear as a platformer, almost anything else can be included without the thing feeling alienating or confusing. We can build 2D platformers reliably, leaving more freedom to worry about the mechanics and the message. The platformer remains one of the most accessible and rewarding genres out there. They are timeless. 2D Super Mario titles haven't really changed much over the years, yet they still sell millions of copies. A reason for that is the simple controls, which make them easy to pick up and play, mostly doing away with slow and frustrating tutorials that can bog down other genres. Every successful jump is gratifying, creating many satisfying moments sprinkled all the way through each level. First-person shooters and RPGs may have taken the top slots nowadays, but the platformer was the game of the 80s and 90s. For many such as myself who grew up during that time, we cut our teeth on Super Mario Bros. Or Sonic the Hedgehog, Mega Man or Metroid. Back then, the internet wasn't where it is today. We had to buy magazines for our gaming news, and we'd get excited over a few tiny screenshots of an upcoming Donkey Kong Country game. We'd drool over 30-second television commercials with only brief glimpses of what was to come. And when we finally saved up enough to buy it, or we were lucky enough to have a relative gift it to us, we poured hours and hours into it over the course of months, hunting down every single DK coin, uncovering every secret area. I still get that same buzz whenever I play these games. A good platformer reminds me why I fell in love with gaming in the first place. So are platformer fans just stuck in the past? Well, no. There are plenty of new titles to get equally excited about in 2017. Playtonic Games are working on Yooka-Laylee, the spiritual successor to the Banjo-Kazooie series, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Despite some delays, the arrival of the run-and-gun game Cuphead isn't far off, with an art style proving there's still so much you can do. I'm super excited for Spectre of Torment, an additional campaign and prequel to one of my all-time favourite games, Shovel Knight. Super Mario Odyssey is heading to the Nintendo Switch later in the year. Also from Nintendo, Pikmin is set to get the side-scroller treatment on the 3DS. And there's a whole series of indie platformers on the way too. For fans of the genre, 2017 looks like it's going to be a good year. Stick with Leaps and Bounds, we'll be covering all of it.